Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Wolf of Asgard Hobbies. Or if you're new here, welcome to Wolf of Asgard Hobbies. I am your host, Kyle. Today we'll be talking about the Dead Horses tribe in Zion Valley in the year 2281. And we will also be going over and showing you how to make their signature weapon, the Dead Horse War Club. Here are your timestamps. Let's get to it. Maces and war clubs are similar in function, but their methods of damage are different because of their shapes. Maces have a long handle with most of the weight being at the top. Clubs take a more baseball shape with the weight being in the elongated barrel. Clubs and maces are designed to crush and break objects when striking them. The best clubs are made of either walnut, maple, or hickory. Clubs were not just weapons, they were status symbols and often used in ceremonies. The oldest found war club was discovered in British Columbia, Canada. War clubs or trench clubs and maces would reappear and become a very effective and quiet raiding weapon in the trenches of World War I, often made from the scrap found in the trenches. Today, war clubs have a ceremonial role, and even though manufacturers say war-ready and battle-tested, keep in mind, we no longer fight wars with these weapons. It is just marketing. For the war club, I'm going to use a hickory axe handle. As you can see with the black ink and gray pencil marks, I've mapped out where I'm going to cut, carve, whittle, and basically do the best I can to make this look like the war club from Fallout New Vegas. I forget which DLC it is. I'll throw it up once I remember, or once I get done Googling it. Alright. Let's go cut and whittle this to shape. Alright, so I'm going to take my knife. I'm going to try my best to whittle out this bottom notch here. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the belly. And then after that, I'm going to move on to the cutting part. Now I'm going to take the half round on this wood rasp. Where's the camera? There it is. And shape this thumb hole. Go over it with some sandpaper. So to shape this, I'm going to alternate between the flat and then the half round wood parts of the wood rasp. Starting off with the round. Now I'm going to use the flat. And now I'm going to use the sandpaper. Alright, so now the plan is I'm going to take a saw, I'm going to cut along the back of the hoof here, and then the front part of the hoof here. This is technically the pommel part. And then for this notch, I think I'm going to hack it with the Bowie knife. But we'll see how that goes. I'm going to use the flat of the wood rasp, and I'm going to try to round this out to more of a hoof shape. And then I'm going to take some sandpaper and go back and forth over it. Grab my sandpaper. So I don't know how well this is going to work, but for artistic flair, I'm going to take the half round and try to put a notch in the bottom of the horse's hoof. Oh, I may not have mentioned it, but this is 80 grit sandpaper. I think that's good enough. So I think for this back piece here, I'm going to take my Bowie knife, however you want to pronounce it, and do a chopping motion. And then, like I've been doing, take the wood rasp, shape it, and then use sandpaper to smooth it out. Okay, so as you can see, we have the handle mostly shaped. Well, actually it is shaped. I don't know what I'm talking about mostly. Now it's actually for the striking surface, or the head, that we need to do. What I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to cut this part off here with a saw, and then use my Bowie knife and carve the curve in, as well as the horse's ear. These two I will figure out along the way. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do, instead of hacking at it, I'm going to take the hobby saw, and I'm going to try to cut this small strip here, the earpiece, and where the, what do you call it? Where the mane meets the head. Alright, the hobby saw seemed to work great. So now I'm just going to take the rasp. I'm not going to completely round the mane. I'm just going to give it a steep angle. I might carve a notch in for the horse ears, but we'll think about it. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the hobby saw or this wood saw and cut these notches in. I'll probably use the wood saw for the big one and then use the hobby saw for the small one here. And then I kind of shaped the plume. I think that's what it's called. It's either the plume or the mane. It's one of those two words. Using a wood rasp, so now it's got like a texture, rough texture to it. And it kind of looks like hair, which I thought was a cool little bonus. Sure. Looks right. Oh, I used my Bowie knife to add notches, a V-notch into the ears here, so it looks like there's ears. Oop. Oop. Now that I got that cut, I'm going to use the round end of the rasp, and I think you know where this is going. Now I'm going to use the flat end, and very carefully, so I got behind the ear here, using the flat, going at an angle like this, and then here, once I got it cut, I more or less did the same thing, I was going straight. But now that I have the main plume, I'll figure it out eventually. And now I just got to cut out this notch here, shape it, and that takes care of the head shape. And then after that, just moving on to the wood carving part. This part right there. Oop, too close. It's going to cut off from the nose. Yeah, there it works. Now, actually, let's go a little further so I can actually get that curve in. Alright, so you kind of saw how I went at this angle a little bit, and then you saw how I went down here. I just took my Bowie knife, put it into this top slit, pushed down, and it snapped off. So I have the shape I want now. Now I just gotta carve it to shape. The actual eye, nose, and the rest of the features, I'm either going to use Dremel or I'm going to use chisels. Like I said, I will let you know when I get there. Sandpaper. Okay, so what I did was a little combination of both. I traced out where I drew the markings, then I carved them out with a knife, and then I went back over them with chisels. So it was a combination of all three methods, well, two methods. Because I'm not very good at using chisels, and I'm decent with using a knife. So as you can see here on the eye where it was drawn out, I think you can see the thick marks where I scarred it with my knife, and I'm just going to use a round chisel, go around the eye this way, then later I'm probably going to use some sandpaper, and I'm going to try to round it the best I can without completely deforming the eye. So like how I did here, I used a knife, marked it, used a chisel, followed it, and then I used sandpaper to smooth it out. So that's the plan with the eye. The mouth here, I just used the chisel, and the nose here, I used this round chisel. I just kind of did a twisting motion all the way around. Alright, now I'm going to take the chisel here and just try to go around where the eye is. Now I'm going to get a piece of sandpaper, and I'm going to try to do the same thing. I'm going to try to follow the groove as best I can. As you can see, we have the horse's head shaped. I really do hate this camera. We have the back thumb notch, the belly curve. Then we have the hoof. As you can see with the hoof, there's a slight step here. And I did this using the flat end of the rasp and just kept scarring until it made a noticeable step, which you see there. And then I used the round end and added more of a curve into the hoof. So outside of decorating it, this is the Dead Horses War Club. Believed to originate from a place called the Res, east of the Grand Canyon, the Dead Horses are descendants from the pre-war inhabitants as well as the tourists who were visiting the area when the Great War broke out. Eventually they would leave the Res, heading west until they reached the banks of the Colorado River at Dead Horse Point. Here they would make their home and their namesake. The Dead Horse language is a Creole, a combination of German and Navajo with few members maintaining English well enough to effectively communicate with outsiders, such as the New Canaanites in the year 2281, living in the Zion Canyon. The signature weapon of the Dead Horses is a wooden war club, hand-carved, with the upper portion being carved into a horse's head and neck. It is a one-handed blunt melee weapon, with the horse's head being the striking surface. The pommel is decorated with feathers and chalk markings. They can be further decorated with 45 cartridge casings, usually 19 to 24. Additionally, 3 necklaces made of green beads, called honors, can be found around these war clubs. Each war club is carved and painted in a manner, making the weapon personal and unique to the hunter using it, with only the casings and honors being traditional decorations. My theory on these decorations are you earn the honors after successfully completing a great hunt, such as completing the Ghost of She quest, and you earn the casing surviving a major battle, which in the main quest line is Crush the White Legs. Whether you're spare or killing Salt upon Wounds, you have earned your casings. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the like button. If you have any suggestions or criticisms, leave a comment. And if you want to stay tuned for my next project, don't forget to click that subscribe icon and ring that bell. So, until our next project, have a beautiful day.